Hi, this is Joyce Hall from Joyce Hand Stamp by Joyce Hall, and I'm here to show you how to do a theater fold card. So, opens and closes like that. So, I've already got my pieces pre-cut so that I can show you. I use the rectangle die. What you'll need to start will be two pieces in your base color, which I used Old Olive, and they are 4 1/4 by 5 1/2. One of them is going to be just plain, the other one will be cut with the rectangle punch. And in order to get a centered rectangle punch, rectangle die, I took a piece of cardboard and I made a template. I used the next size larger rectangle in order to have this, and then when I punched this out, I just centered it inside this this template. And then I did the same thing. We're going to be using a piece of DSP that is cut to 4 by 5, and I did the same thing so that I could punch the piece out of there. Now for this piece here, you'll discard the inside piece. You do not need that, so you can save those for another project. For the piece of DSP, you would you'll take that piece that you've got and you'll cut it in half, and you'll use that in the card. So the first step is to punch out the side pieces in here so that you can grip the curtains and pull them out. And I used the Label Me Fancy punch, which is this one right here. And I just used the top of this piece. I on my template, I marked the halfway mark and used that to make a mark here. And I did it on the back side of this piece, but it doesn't really matter because you're going to be punching that piece out and discarding it anyway. And you'd want to just line this up so that this is in the center, and punch on both ends. Love when those fly. I've got my friend Carolyn here. She's doing one alongside me so that and she's also helping me out if I forget to mention something. Now you're going to have two strips that you're going to need, and you'll attach them on the back side of this frame. And these pieces are 3/4 wide, 6 1/4 inches long, and they will be scored at 1 1/16. No, scored at 1 and 5 1/4. So an inch from each end. And then it's a good idea to take your paper snips. Do you have a pair of paper snips handy? Thank you.
Of course I do.
They're not Stampin' Up! Ones,
I'm
though.
sorry.
Oh well. Beggars can't be choosers.
My other ones are at home.
Oh. All right. So what I did was I'm trimming off a little bit here so that when you stick it down, if this piece right in here is a little too narrow, then these pieces won't show in your curtain window.
Thank you.
So fold these pieces down, and that's where you're going to be putting the glue. I now have, it just came in. My UPS guy came through for me today. I have the Stamp and Seal Plus dispenser, and I do recommend a strong adhesive for these cards because they do get a lot of wear and tear. Now notice that this Stamp and Seal comes down, I don't know if you can see this, but it actually comes down in little bars. And so then I'm so used to using other adhesives, we have to make a little check mark. With this one, you don't have to make the check mark. All you do is lift. And put some adhesive on each end.
I need to try that too.
Turn this over. And then put the adhesive side down and stick it right at the end. I just have like just a whisper of cardstock showing. And you'll be able to see it with a punch. And then this piece here, you may actually see it depending on how well you center this rectangle, but it doesn't matter. Excuse me. And then the other one in the same way.
What is going on?
So this is a free-floating frame. And now we want to attach
This
the
wants to
decoration.
go a little sideways.
Okay. Oh,
Why
I
am
see.
I doing
Yeah.
this?
You're putting it on the back of the frame, right at the edge. Okay, so then turn this piece over. Make sure that you've got the corners well adhered. So I would start with the corners and get a lot of adhesive. Oh, this is really nice stuff. It takes a gentle touch, so you just, instead of lifting, I would just kind of do a real gentle check mark. And do the centers. So, kind of a twist and lift. And this piece, the way that I do it is I line it up at the bottom with the ends and then press down. All right, then put that piece aside. And then take out the other base piece.
I'm going to use this right now.
Here's the template that I use. So you'll cut two pieces of cardstock, and they will be 5 3/8 by 4 1/8. They will be scored at 1 16 inches and 2 5/8 inches. And then you're going to cut a slit. It'll be 1/2 inch from the 1 16 inch and 1/2 inch from the end, and it'll be 1 inch long. So the pieces look like this, and of course you want them to be opposites because we're going to slide a piece through there, and that will hold the stage.
You're way ahead of me.
All right, so now, okay, you're caught up.
All right. Oh, you already cut the slit.
Yeah, everything's all prepped for you. So just take the Seal Plus adhesive, put it on only on the 1 16 inch piece. Line this up at the edge of the card base. Make sure that it's very straight and then centered, because you should have about a 1/16 of an inch showing at the top and bottom. Hold that down and then press that down. And then do the same with this piece. Put adhesive across that 1 16 inch panel.
edge, right?
Yeah. Then this one, you're going to line up the two folds together.
Which way is the slit supposed to be?
The
It
s-
doesn't matter. at
It
this
doesn't
point.
matter, because if it's at the top, you just turn it around.
Just as long as they're both on the same.
As long, and they will be if you did your cut right. So this is what it looks like when you've got them down. You've got the two slits at the bottom here, and if it looks like this when you have these glued down, then you just turn it around and you're good.
Gotcha.
All right, now, then you'll need a piece of coordinating DSP, and that's the back of the stage. That piece is 3 1/16 wide and 4 1/8 inch tall.
This should meet.
The two pieces, yes, these two pieces need to meet.
Okay.
All right, so now we need to glue this down.
Get over there.
And this, you have to be careful when you cut this one that it's not too wide, because if it's too wide, then these pieces won't close properly. So if it's cut just right, then you should be able to put it right at the edge, bottom edge of these two pieces, and then line this up, and it'll close flat as long as these sides are inside the fold. All right, so now we've got that done.
Almost.
Let's get these pieces in place. So you want your curtains to fit in correctly. So the next thing is to slide this in between these. Okay, and then this top piece, this frame, will not, it will not be adhered down to the card, so you'll always be able to pull that off. It has to be like that in order for the smooth.
I think mine is a little bit off.
Okay, we'll fix it later. All right, so then these pieces here, make sure that you match them up so that the pattern is continuous. Put adhesive down, and you've got to have this frame in place in order to place this correctly.
I need to come out a teeny bit here.
So what you want to do is get this right on the fold to put that into place. And then put adhesive on the back of this. Alright, some extra adhesive came off. What's really nice is all you do is just bend it back into place and stick it down. Alright, I'm just moving this frame over a little bit this way to make it easier to stick this one in, because you want these two to meet in the center when everything's flat and be inside the frame. So the next step, we have to take this front frame off, and we're going to put the items from the stage in place. So you're going to have a piece like this, which is 1 1/4 by 4 1/4, and this is a 1/2 inch from each edge to this, and then this is 1/4 inch in. So you trim it to an H, And then you'll want to fold in just one side. Now we have to prep our the items for the stage. We've got Happy Birthday. This Happy Birthday was made with this Pick a Label punch. And the Pick a Label punch, you actually get 6 different punches all in one. So you've got 2 different styles of punches and 3 different widths for each of those. One of the tricky things of using this is that when you're making a label this size, when you put it in here, you can't get it all the way in there, but you can take what I did was take a 1-inch wide piece of cardstock. I took my Tombow liquid glue and just put a little bit on this end and let it dry. I made sure that it was a thin film. And then, all right, so the end that needs to be punched would be at this end here. You put the opposite end on here, and then you can stick that in and you can get it into the punch so that it's ready to punch. This has already been pre-punched. In order to get just the right width, you can also, you take the little piece that, I'll have to show that in a different video, but how to center these. So we're going to thread this.
Are you watching me struggling?
I'll be with you when we finish this. All right, so this is going to go in like this, go through the 2 slits, and then open up the folded end, and then pull this all the way out. Now that's ready for the Happy Birthday. We're going to glue these pieces of leaves in place. So one going off to the right, the other one are going off to the left, one going off to the right.
There we go.
And these, you want to make sure that this whole piece is not wider than your 3 1/16 piece of DSP. So got that glued together, and then a row of adhesive down the bottom of the label, and that gets adhered right in the center of that strip of cardstock. So then pull these pieces out and push these until you've got a flat.
Oh, crap. Oh, there we go. There we go.
I'm almost done. Then I'll help you get
I'm
yours
getting
assembled.
it.
You're almost done too. All right. So put your piece together. I'm still trying to figure out which side to start with. What works better? And I think doing the right side first, because I can hold it down with my right hand while I'm threading the left side.
Ta-da.
All right, so the last step is centering this greeting right up here. So you just want to put adhesive on the back at the top.
It's not picking up.
and then center it at the top, and you're done.
Mine is fitting really tight.
Anyway, thank you for joining me, and I hope you enjoy this. If you've got any questions, I'd be happy
Don't
to
ask
answer
Carolyn.
them.
No, don't ask me.
And if you'd like to order any of the materials that are used here, I'd be happy to help you. Thanks for joining us.